Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Isn't that tapestry cool? Oh my gosh, I love it. It reminds me of like when I'm coming up with ideas, like my little skull just goes, whoa. Anyway, there's my bee in the bonnet and welcome to my channel. Hey, there's poofs and chairs all around, by all means, take a seat. It's rainbow flavor colored. It's gorgeous, lovely. There's monotone rainbows if you prefer that. Got your moon bows. I love those. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you about actually one of my favorite things on the planet. Well, one of a few of my favorite things on the planet. I love clearance aisles. I love them. I do. I really, really do. That's like when you go to England, or I'm sure anywhere in the UK, they have charity shops, and it's like a treasure hunt to me. I go in there and I'm like, ooh, what can I find? However, I have not been able to go to a charity shop in quite some time, which is, I lament that fact. I'd really like to go, so yeah, it's on my to-do list. Hopefully I'll be able to do it soon. Because I can't go right now. Every time I go when it's really, really cold, everything in this store is a sweater. Or, I'm sorry, a jumper. And so I'll go in there and I'm just looking around going, just being in the store looking at all this is making me really, really hot. So I can't be here. So I gotta wait until it gets warmer and then I can look at clothes that I can wear in the winter. I know it sounds weird, but that's just how I am. Alright, well, in America, and I'm telling you this because I want you to know, like, why I miss it so much. Because I do. But in America, obviously, they have gigantic stores with, like, real specific, tailored audiences, people that they're going to cater to, right? So you can go into, like, a store for, like, chef parts when you want pots and pans, aprons, all the little, accoutrements. You can go in there and go grab everything you could possibly need, and you're in and out, done. It's great. There's one for housewares, which is amazing to go to. I've lost the name now, but I'll probably think of it at some point. But anyway, go in there, and it's just beautiful. I mean, if there is a color of the towel that you cannot find anywhere else, go there. Might be linens and things, I'm not sure. But it's amazing. It's a very weird experience, I would have to say, for somebody that lived here all their life. Because what you're looking at is you're getting in a vehicle. Public transport is not really used that much. Of course, depending on where you live in America, so there is that. But where I'm from, it was generally a car or you're not really going out. Not really. Fort Worth, it was not that great for that. But once you got there, they would have like these strip malls, but they were just gigantic strip malls. So you'd have, at the time, Toys R Us, like the big Target, the big Walmart. You'd have maybe the Hobby Lobby. You'd have this big import store, and then like linens and things, right? So you can make a day of it because there'd be a restaurant or three, strewn in there, which is one of the things that I know a lot of people really like to indulge in. That I tried not to because it would drive me nuts when I couldn't get everything I wanted. And I try not to tease myself too much in that regard, because I do like a lot of things. And I've never actually been able to go in anywhere and just go, you know what, I'm just going to get everything I ever wanted. I don't know very many people that have had that experience, and I always wondered what that feels like, Like, would it really be as satisfying as you think it would be? I don't know. It just makes me wonder. But I'll tell you my favorite little trio that I used to go to. It was kind of a strip mall. Maybe. But on one side of the road, there was this little hamburger shop, right? And they would make the best hamburgers. And like they had obviously all the little other things, onion rings, chicken burgers. They had really great salads, which I used to love to eat too, and all kinds of really cool stuff. Well, across the street, you would have Half Price Books. It's an amazing place. I highly recommend it, seriously. And then across from that one, not a street, but just next to it, was what do you call it? Goodwill. Those are my three. That was like my trifecta. That's where I had to go every other weekend because the food was wonderful. And then you go across the street and you either have it before you go shopping or after, whatever. You know, I like to bring a couple of people with me if I could. It was really fun. You could get dressed up all like weird and funny and do it on the weekend after you've worked really hard all week. And then I could do like the medieval reenactment that I used to enjoy doing. It was a lot of fun. And you got to be real creative. So, yeah, you know, so you go like usually I'd spend most of my time in half price books because I love reading, love books, but in half price books you have to understand they have books of course and magazines yes and audiobooks yeah, but in the back they have rare books and rare manuscripts. They also have they'll have what do you call it like movies and they have DVDs and then they have records and then they have you know like so you, a lot of entertainment choices. And it's a really beautiful place to go to find gently used books. I swear, it's fantastic. And I, unfortunately, before I moved here, I had to sell my book collection, which, oh, God, it was heartbreaking. I didn't want to do it, but I had to, you know, like you make sacrifices, right? So I did, and I had to sell the whole thing, and the lady's like, this is a really unique collection, and I was like, well, thank you. And I was trying not to cry, honestly, because they were some of my favorite books, and some of them are really hard to find now. But you know, it's what we all go through. The things we love, right? We're all collectors at heart, I believe, but obviously for specific things. You know, some of them are real like general. Like some people just really love stamps or I don't know mugs, and there's plates that people go for and stuff like that. It's cool. I get it. Yeah, but when you go in there, there's places to sit and read quietly. Nobody bothers you, you know, and you can spend hours in there. And I would, just looking for the next cool book, or I would just go looking for some old records, or you know, just enjoying the ambience, really, because you have also stationery sets there, and they have journals, and I mean, just anything your little bibliophile type heart desires. Go there, you'll be happy. And I was definitely a very happy kitty, let me tell you. Oh, loved it there. And then, of course, you know, when you traverse the aisles of half price books and you're done and you're happy there, then you go over to Goodwill. And Goodwill is just like smorgasbord of awesome stuff. You I can't even describe how big it is. Like your bookstores that you have here are lovely. They are. I am not taking away from any of them, not denigrating them in any way, shape, or form. But they are smaller than ours. A lot of ours. Yeah. But half price books, if I were to give you an example of the size of the half price books that I usually would go to, it would be about half the size of a regular Tesco. And mm, yeah, yeah, actually, that'd be about the size. And then when you go into Goodwill, depending, okay, some Goodwills are teeny tiny, but that depends on the town that they're in. If they're a small town, it kind of coincides. So it's cool. We get it, right? But then in Austin, Texas, our Goodwill was just enormous. And so it was, how do I put it? You walk in and there's freestanding aisles over here. There's an aisle that goes all the way around this warehouse like building. I really believe it's the size of a football field. Because I could seriously superimpose a football field in there and see the players go at it, and I think they would all fit just fine. It was huge. And of course, on the outside of that, that's where they put all the dress, like the dressier clothes, the dressier men and women's clothes, children, outerwear, blankets, you know, comforters, etc., etc. And that would all go on the outside. Curtains, you know. And then when you walk in, everything, if you're in a good one, which sometimes you get a bad one, but if you're in a good one, they would categorize them. And some of the categories obviously would cater to just sizes, but some of them would get real specific and they'd be like, okay, these are these sizes for this kind of clothing, which is pretty nice. Anyway, you can't resist going in there. There are so many like days where you get to like take a lot of money off of them, which again, who can resist that? And if you're smart, you go looking for different labels. If you like different brands or labels, and you have an eagle eye, which I tended to, you can find some pretty good deals. Um, there was a guy, Ed Hardy, I believe. He got pretty well known, and I found one of his purses in there. Sold originally for like 60 something, I believe. At the time, I got it for what it was like $5 because nobody knew what it was, and I'm going, yeah, can I have it now? Thanks. Whoa! I made off like a bandit that day. Wow. But, like, I carried that thing with me. I loved it until it, fell apart. And now, I have to get a new purse again. They wear out pretty decent timing. So, I don't know if I'm probably going to get it from Killstar, but you never know. Keep an eye out. Might be some cool ones. All right, back to Goodwill. Go into Goodwill, and there's like a section for books. There's a section for children's toys, obviously. And a lot of those are in the baskets that go on top of all the clothing racks. So all throughout the store, you'll see nothing but like just stuffed animals at the very top, or shoes. Shoes towards the back was definitely one. And I don't know. It never smelled bad. It wasn't a bad place. You do have to have a good eye for clothes and, look for small imperfections. Make sure that there's something you can live with. Um, if not, then don't get the clothing. You have to be careful what you pay your money into. Or if there is a small imperfection, you have to look and say, okay, is it within my skill group, skill set to repair this? Can I do that? If you can, get it. You'd be getting it at a substantial discount. It's, where there's a will, there's a way. Or, like, sometimes I'd go in there and there'd be a cool fabric on, like, whatever it was. And I would just think to myself, you know what? I could take that fabric and make it into something else. I always had one idea I wanted to bring to fruition, but it just never happened. But I always thought, wouldn't it be cool to buy one of the old wedding dresses, something that would fit me, and like redesign it. I always wanted to take the fullness of one of those ball gown ones and lift it up on the sides by the hips, gather it, and then instead of doing the poofiness, do a bustle gown. So where it's like a little bit more, it's just a beautiful look, really. But then shorten it a little bit. So you can wear it with like some equestrian heels, maybe a top hat. Oh, I would die for that look. But dye it another color, not white. Like I would want mine to be, oh, I don't know, like purple. But I mean Cadbury purple. That's my color right there. Cadbury purple, I'm all over that dress. It would be beautiful. Because, I'm always looking for things that are Cadbury purple colored. That's more periwinkle right there. But, yeah, I'm a stickler for purple. I love it. I will always be going for everything purple as long as possible, Anyway, Goodwill was fantastic for all that kind of stuff. And you would usually make out really well. And it's a good place to drop off all the things that you didn't want. And it was pretty easy to do so, so you weren't like it wasn't very specific. I've noticed there's a very much a lot of specificity around here where, you can take this out at this day. And you can call this company to get rid of this stuff, but you can't get rid of this stuff then. It's there's a learning curve. I will learn it, but yeah, so a little bit of that. And, yeah. So usually you'd walk out, and that was a very satisfying type shop for me. Now, there were the occasions when we would go to the strip malls that were bigger, and those were a lot of fun. There's a store that I'm not sure they're around still, I don't know. But they're called Hobby Lobby, and they had something I adored. Clearance aisles. Yes, plural, 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 plural. It might as well have just been a warehouse. The thing was enormous. You're talking like 2 football fields big. It was huge with craft stuff. So, if you're craft minded and you like to make things, right? Pulling up in front of a building like that, your mind is just going to be like, holy crap, what can't I make? I got my tax return one year. I went a little nutty in the craft store. I admit it. I did. I'm embarrassed, but yeah. I was young and silly, so you gotta learn. You gotta learn. It's a literal truth in life. You have to learn these lessons, sometimes very hard. But it was the first and only mistake. I never did it again. So I guess there's something to be said for that, right? Learn, learn, and try not to do it again. Simple. What was it? Keep it simple, stupid. That was something I grew up learning, and it's real applicable. Real applicable. But the clearance aisles were fantastic. Okay, so the reason they were is because you're leaning on your basket, or maybe you're carrying one. I don't know. If you're like me, you have a basket and you're kind of leaning on it and looking around in the clearance aisle, and there are things in there that you would never have even realized existed in a craft sense unless you'd gone to the clearance aisle, because they're just not something you would normally look at. However, when you do go and you look at these items, these little wheels go in your head and you start thinking, I could use it for this, I could do that, I could do this. Connections will be made. And I highly recommend, whether you're still living in America or if you live here, find, a craft store. See if they have stuff on clearance. Or if not, maybe break up your routine and don't go to the same spot in the store every day that you ever go to. Change it up. Go to the other side of the store when you walk in and see what other stuff they might have. You'd be surprised what's hiding right under your nose. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But the clearance aisles just blew my mind when I was over there. You'd be so satisfied. There was everything there: clay, pottery, stationery, doing stencils, I can't even, like glass, a vase or a vase. I'm not sure whichever one you prefer, but you could use those, and then they would sell those little glass, like stones, and you could do mosaic work on the glass with the glue and everything. And it was, as one of my favorite people says, she's a like a, what do you call it? She's a host for this show, but she's like, oh, it's stunning. Yeah, it's stunning. It was amazing. But definitely you should go, if you can, because it's nothing like it that you'll get online. That's the one thing I do miss about it, is that I can't go put my hands on these items and go look at them and examine them and feel like what the possibilities are for them. I can only get so much from a picture, you know, what do you call it, in like diameters, and dude, there's only so much you can get out of that before you're just buying something you just don't know. It's like, well, let's spin the wheel. Let's see what we get, Bob. Okay. Woo! And you end up with something you either love or you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And it's not like we have like a lot of room here in the UK, So I'm not going to be boxed into this tiny little space. So yeah, I've had to be a lot more careful, limited on what I buy, because I can't satisfy that clearance itch, as it were. And I miss it. They also had fabric, and they would have the fabric on the bolts. I am not exaggerating when I tell you there were some beautiful fabrics. $1 a yard. 50 cents a yard. Really? Okay, it's not tied down. I'm taking it home. And I did. You know that burnt out velvet fabric where it's like this beautiful design and you can see the mesh in between it? Just gorgeous, right? Okay, there was one that had the cherry blossoms, and they were black velvet on black netting. $1 a yard. Nobody bought it. I bought the whole bolt. And then I proceeded to make another outfit out of it for the next weekend. Because that's what crafty goths do. You know, do what you gotta do to make something that you would be proud to walk in and comfortable. Anyway, I really hope like I've stoked a little bit of interest in, craftiness and going out and seeing like how you can make things yourself. And whatever you do, don't dismiss the items that you already have. Look at repurposing things too, please, because I highly recommend that. Um, yeah, that's about it. All right. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I honestly look forward to just chatting with you guys about life and like some of the experiences I've had, and maybe in time you can share some of your really cool experiences with me too, because I would dearly love to do that. I'd love to like read them and get to know you guys and see what it is that you've gone through in life, and share that. I think it's exciting. I do. I've always like been. I was the new kid 13 times growing up. Okay, my dad was in the military, moved all the time, so I was constantly the new kid. So I am so over the shyness thing. So maybe that's why I'm just like the way I am. But yeah, I'd love to get to know you guys some more. So please subscribe. If you see the little button down there, please subscribe to all of it. And I know you guys are watching the videos, but you're not clicking subscribe. Please subscribe. Come on. It's one little button. It's not that hard. And it helps me so much. It really does. I barely understand, the algorithms and all that, but I do know if you appreciate what I'm doing, wouldn't it be nice to just subscribe to me? Come on. Thank you. Oh, and there's my cat. See you guys later.